Once upon a time, Noah got the call. Build yourself an ark, 'cause the rains are going to fall. It's always been true, but Noah knew that God was sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God is sorting out the weather. And Noah, just in time, built himself an ark. When the rain started raining, the skies got mighty dark. Yet Noah came through, and the animals too. He had a 40-day forecast of the weather. It's always been true, and Noah knew that God's a sorting out the weather. Now God helps those who help themselves, you know, and Noah's story happened long ago. And since those days, the men who sailed the seas tried to solve a lot of mystery. First they went by sail, then by steam. They had one thought, they had one dream, a safer trip and a better ship. God kept sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God is sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God keeps sorting out the weather.
Nobody lives here. Even the camera is an intruder. The Navy's NOAA operates unattended for at least 5 years. It reports with unfailing regularity sea and air temperature, wind speed and direction, and the barometric pressure. This silent weather observer operates on nuclear power, covering areas of the sea where it is not practical nor comfortable for people to be. But the individual with his instruments and perception covers most of the world. World weather knows no boundaries. Observations of its behavior are freely exchanged among nations. Some 130 nations participate in the World Meteorological Organization. Observations are reduced to a standard international code, and at specific times each day are fed into a worldwide computerized network.
Papadala ko kagad ito.
Weather is everybody's business. And the fact that weather observations are freely shared is a very positive comment on today's world. After all, West Germany's weather today is East Germany's weather tomorrow. And the clouds over Siberia have much to say about the wind chill factor and storms that sweep through Alaska. Analyzing these international observations from the Worldwide Weather Network and making accurate forecasts for all the seas and waterways of the world is the mission of the United States Naval Weather Service Command. The sea still holds a great deal of mystery. Here the need for an accurate, long-range forecast exceeds what could be called everybody's need. For all of us, weather has always been that uncertain thing hanging over our heads. Weather is nature. Weather has a great deal to do with human behavior and personal destiny. By and large, we feel and act as the weather goes. Somewhere in the world's oceans, almost every day, a storm is brewing. Satellite pictures give a perspective to a weather situation, the view from outer space. From up there, cloud formations often reveal the first inkling of a storm.
All right, Giovanni, cut it.
But as observers, the satellites do not give us any measurement of precipitation, pressure, or wind velocity. The Navy's Satellite Central uses readouts from two basic satellite systems.
Nah, I just don't see it in that picture.
Jumping the gun is as bad as missing the boat.
History, it appears this system here in the central Atlantic.
Today's forecast always depends on what happened yesterday and the day before.
It's blowing itself out. The only one really in question seems to be the one in the western Gulf of Mexico. It's just too early to tell on that one yet.
When the latest pictures are totally analyzed, the daily satellite bulletin is issued. The actual satellite pictures are also transmitted to other agencies and to Naval Weather Centrals.
Jim, is that low in the western Atlantic still deepening?
Yes, sir, Commander. The satellite pictures we received this morning indicates a deepening on it. The bright spot down in the trough is more intense than it was.
Each Fleet Weather Central controls forecasting for its assigned segment of the world.
The upper air charts reinforce this dynamically. The max
Every day, the computer-prepared analyses of world weather observations are studied.
indicating some digging in here.
Very high upper air weather charts are compared with intermediate altitude charts and on down to the surface.
In this area. On the 700 millibar analysis.
Comparing these altitude charts gives Weather Central a three-dimensional concept of weather.
Tendency looks like in here to close off.
The range of the data extends from 100,000 feet
Contour.
to the surface and below to the sublayers of the ocean.
On the 850. Down on the surface, you see we have two closed contours with a 990 low. It looks like the...
But wet weather forecasts, or what's below the surface, is generally only important for special naval operations.
Anti-submarine warfare exercises along the East Coast here. Submarine detection looks favorable. The layer conditions are such that we should have good echo ranging out for some distances.
The various types of anti-submarine units use different sonar and sound detection systems in an ever-changing ocean. And the accuracy of these systems depends on the acoustic properties of the water. These properties determine the path that the sound will travel underwater. Weather Central, using the charted ocean bottoms and data on the acoustic properties of the water layers above, prepares sound path forecasts for each system in each area of operation. Based on complex calculations, the user is sent computer-prepared messages which tell him what sonar ranges are possible, including where he may move for optimum sonar pickup. These sophisticated forecasts are an important link in our chain of defense.
For the coming exercises off the coast. The latest charts that we got from numerical would indicate...
The Air Force Automated Weather Network collects observations from the worldwide system. To keep from duplicating lines of communication, these observations are automatically passed on, computer to computer. The Navy Fleet Numerical Weather Central is a vast mass of strangely silent boxes of electronic circuitry. This one Navy Numerical Center checks the data. Very few inaccuracies get by the cold and calculating circuits. The computers organize, analyze, and store 4,000 bits of information a minute and transmit it at the same never-lagging speed 24 hours a day. This, the Navy Numerical Center, is where the action isn't to solve the problems where the action is.
High would only...
Main thing is to
secondary
keep
front
the
going to block out the
pressure
cold
gradient in
advection
there.
coming into the
It looks like
center.
the low should be moving northward.
Yeah, but you still have that blocking
What's the
high.
pressure tendency at Sable Island?
The coded data from the Numerical Center received by the Weather Centrals is sliced off and reorganized to tell all that is known of weather throughout that particular Weather Central area. Unaffected by human thought and untouched by human hand, the Weather Central computer designs a weather analysis hard copy. With the aid of a very sophisticated translator, the computers also provide plain language information. The CAT unit, as it's called, stores the 4,000 bits of never-ending information and lays it out for the radio teletype or RAT unit, a sort of cat and mouse operation that puts it into language suitable for human comprehension.
Attention on deck.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Captain. Our latest analysis shows a little better circulation than the earlier satellite pictures did that we received this morning. I think we must be concerned with this area in the Gulf.
How's that going to affect our towing operation out of Key West, Jim?
Today, our forecast went out on our WEAX to the tow, giving good weather for today with good towing conditions.
Towing operations are especially vulnerable to winds and high seas. The tug is limited to speeds of about 3 to 5 knots, with no chance to outrun a storm. These tugs receive a special weather forecast every 6 hours, and more if necessary. The report, called a WEAX, is especially made up by Weather Central for any requesting ship in the area.
There are 20 ships on OTSR this morning. Now, if this wave should deepen, right in here now, should deepen and move on up into off the East Coast, we have a ship from Amsterdam coming across the top, which could get involved with it.
OTSR is the terminology for Optimum Track Ship Routing, a special service for ships on routes over 1,500 miles. OTSRs can be obtained on request and are based on long-range forecasts of sea and weather, balanced against the type of ship and its cargo. A cargo of delicate equipment might, in a storm, receive a recommended course change, while a cargo of cotton or grain might do better riding out the storm. These OTSRs have a commendable record of saving time and avoiding damage.
The merchant ship now loading in Norfolk has requested OTSR routing to Rhoda. I think with the PVA max off of Carolina as indicated on the vorticity charts, and it being in a good cyclogenesis area, this ship's departure time could be affected.
Yes, that PVA max could cause the low to deepen considerably.
Yes, I think it would.
We should look for a change in departure time.
Well, we got an option. We can send him out a day later, or we may try to get him out earlier. As we've said, he's fast, and he may be able to outrun anything that may develop.
Jim, what's that ship in the Gulf reporting there?
Captain, he's right in the crest of the wave here in the Gulf. Got light winds, 5 knots from the southwest, and about 3 feet of swell.
The amphibious group is presently having good weather. Very little seas for them. The carrier force operating in their op area are also having good weather at this time. They have very little wind. They may have to make some of their own for their carquois, but otherwise they just couldn't ask for a better day.
A carrier can take 12-foot seas and close to 50-knot winds and still continue normal operations. Many of the Navy's larger ships are equipped to take direct readouts from the weather satellites overhead. When a satellite makes its pass over the ship's position, the tracking antenna locks into an automatic follow. The 10-minute pass produces about 4 pictures, sufficient to show what's out there several hundred miles beyond the horizon. Ship position and grid lines must be established on each picture.
How is Channel 8 coverage?
Fine, sir. Here's the latest plot as of 0700 this morning.
Channel 8, a radio teletype circuit, is dedicated exclusively to weather. Its coded information is generally converted into a handmade map relating weather to the immediate local area.
Here's the latest computer right now. And here's the latest satellite readout.
Thank you. Is that the latest prog on the machine?
Yes, sir. It'll be through in about 5 minutes.
For the larger ships, these facsimiles are the primary source of weather information and are received 24 hours a day. They originate at the area Weather Central, where optical scanners transmit direct to the ship any chart made by the computer or drawn by hand. A new computer system generates and transmits a facsimile in a totally electronic process. In this direct computer-to-fleet transmission, Weather Centrals merely monitor the output on high-speed plotters and check each chart for accuracy and legibility. However, all handmade material still requires the optical scanner.
Briefing will be in 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
In addition to the 24-hour facsimile and Channel 8 broadcast, Weather Central also sends out a plain language teletype message that is relayed to the local monitor channel of all Navy ships all around the world.
Another one of those beautiful days.
For ships without weather specialists, this channel is the only source of weather information. On a carrier, the plain language weather information is switched directly to the Met Office.
Good to see the Weather Central agrees with us.
Sir, are the new pilots coming aboard for caracols today?
Yes, Chief. In this weather, any of them can hack it. They'll all be here.
Okay, the current report at the carrier is 3,000 scattered, 10 miles. The winds are light, seas are calm. It should be good weather for the next 12 hours and no problems.
Good, then it looks pretty good for your first landing aboard today.
Let's man up and be ready to go at 1300.
Have a nice flight.
Thank you.
Morning, Captain.
Morning. What have you got for me today?
Well, I think we got the best possible weather for carrier falls out here today, and it'll remain good for the next 24 hours. Of course, we do have a wave developing down in the Gulf that may cause us problems at a future date.
Okay, how about keeping me advised on this area down here?
Aye, sir.
Carrier qualification pilots are naval aviators making their first carrier landings with newly assigned planes. The weather that is sorted out for their area of the sea is critical to the safety of this training operation.
You know how many of these I've launched?
The carrier, a floating airstrip, is concerned basically about environmental conditions that relate to flying, not floating. The captain wants to know what the weather will be for takeoff, what the weather along the air squadron's route will be, and will the weather on return be suitable for landing. In terms of the carrier itself, storms are no particular threat to this very stable craft that extends the length of about 3 football fields.
Secure from flight ops. Secure from flight ops.
Yesterday's picture here in the western Gulf of Mexico, it's moved northeast.
Today, the wave that we were talking about yesterday, it looks like we're picking up strength through here, then it'll probably come off the coast of North Carolina and Virginia area as a gale, and possibly even greater. I think we'll get a real strong storm out of it. That's it, gentlemen. Are there any questions?
Do we have a warning out?
We had the amendment.
Commander,
May,
you ready for the captain's brief?
all set, Chief. Check and see if the amendment to the wind warning got out.
Yes, sir. It's in communications.
Excuse me, sir, a priority warning.
Thank you, Laurie.
Welcome, sir.
We'll pull into Charleston. Can't outrun it. Drop course, Dave. Give me an ETA.
Aye, Captain.
Hey, Chief. Where's that carrier located? Those qual pilots might be returning.
No, they can go south and miss it. We'll get clobbered in here, though.
Our haze out here will lift before noon this morning. Our weather will stay good after that for the next 24 hours. Of course, the Gulf wave that has continued to deepen and move northeast does put us directly in the path. I do recommend that we move southward for tomorrow's flight ops to improve our weather.
Successful amphibious operations are locked into accurate weather reports.
Man, look at that surf.
In training, these forces learn that weather can do more to prevent a successful landing than any other factor.
Attention. The latest from Weather Central indicates no landing craft for tomorrow's exercise. All hands will be alert for a possible helo lift at 0600 tomorrow. That's 0600.
Hey, did you ever dial Weather Central?
Recovery complete. Recovery
If
complete.
any ship can beat the approaching fury of a storm, a carrier can. Tomorrow's new position should make flying operations possible, and that's the reason a carrier is out there.
Officer of the deck,
Yes, sir.
let's come to course 120, speed up to 28 knots, and notify the rest of the formation.
All right, Captain. Black Widow, Wild Bull, this is Eagle Cliff. Immediate execute. Turn 120, tax speed 28. This is the third day we've been looking at this. It's now developed into a good gale, and just a little bit deeper than we had expected. A rundown on some of the ships. The tug that was coming from Key West is now in Charleston. There's no problems there. The amphibs at the Marine Training Center have requested our very latest forecast on surf conditions and winds expected. They want to go ahead with the exercise, hitting the beach if possible.
Man, I thought we were going to be nice and dry coming in on a halo. The weatherman said, don't worry, you can make it.
Let's go! The OTSR vessel out of Amsterdam is presently riding in good weather in the top of this high. But running into the gradient here, we plan to put it down to the southwest to keep it well to the east of the system as it moves on up to the northeast. And the Norfolk vessel is almost loaded now, and they're fast and should be able to get out of the worst of it before it fully develops. The anti-sub activity will have problems initially. The weather deteriorated quite rapidly in this.
With widely scattered rain showers in the area. The seas out in the off area right now are running around 4-foot swells with a period of...
We have rain in the south and snow in the north, but they should improve for them as this system moves on out.
We have a snowstorm right off the coast right here, and it's moving up the coastline here. Everything right now is grounded from Boston all the way down to Cape Hatteras.
The carrier force has improved its position by moving to the south. They only have 10-foot seas now. The only problem is in visibility and the rain showers that they're having. However, this should improve as they continue on to the south and the system moves on to the northeast.
Captain, our weather out here will lift, so this will be good to continue out.
All right, thank you. Officer of the deck?
All right, Captain. There's quite a bit of heavy weather along the east coast U.S. with snow up in the New York, New England area and down into Virginia. The radar here at the Central is showing strong echoes.
Funny thing working at Weather Central. All that action out there and nothing here.
You see that? We're here in the center. Pretty soon it's going to rain and blow up a storm.
You mean on Weather Central?
Yep.
I better get going home.
Storms, once started, always go somewhere, changing along the way according to the climate they pass through or help create. Rain, rain, go away. Each in his turn gets the storm in his own way, but always on the storm's own terms and on the storm's own time.
Sorry, have to turn on the seatbelt sign. We're running into a little turbulence. I guess you felt better. I'll keep you posted.
The storm has no scruples, and using a storm to one's advantage is not only wise, but honorable.
How about the squadron's home base?
Well, there's still a VFR, sir, and the last plane should be touching down in 30 minutes.
All right. Thank you.
The Naval Weather Service Command has 4 weather centrals, each assigned forecasting for an area of the world. Each served by the Fleet Numerical Weather Central and the Satellite Central. These centrals are assisted by several weather facilities and a number of weather detachments. Decisions for the Naval Weather Service Command come from its headquarters located in Washington, D.C. Here, liaison is conducted with other naval commands and with scientific agencies in the national and world communities. Thus, the Naval Weather Service Command serves the fleets. The operating forces support the command with observations from ocean areas of the world. Global forecasting must include those remote areas where climate makes its own special problems. The Naval Weather Service issues an ice forecast weekly, and any ship on request can get a report that details the ice along its route. In season, the hurricanes are hunted, and the treachery of these tropical storms, though untamed, is now being predicted with remarkable accuracy. The Navy is already borrowing tomorrow's techniques to extend accurate forecasting over a longer period of time. The Naval Weather Service Command keeps a weather eye on the weather of the world, tailoring each forecast for the customer and his special needs.
Since the olden days, we've improved a mite, invented the computer and the satellite. We know a lot more than we ever knew before, yet God keeps on sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God's a-sorting out the weather. Whatever we learn, we must never forget. All the world's a stage, but who built the set? So wherever you may be, in air, land, or sea, He keeps sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God's a-sorting out the weather. We have radar and computers, satellites in the sky, but as long as we live, and as sure as we must die, none of them will ever likely teletype us why that God keeps on sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, God's a-sorting out the weather. Hi-ho, wherever we go, it sure helps to know about the weather.